Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Jefferson nickel that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, get ready, because we're diving into one of the most exciting modern coins of the United States, the 2004 Jefferson nickel from the Louisiana Purchase series, the piece metal design. At first glance it might look like a normal nickel, but trust me, there is nothing normal about this coin. Collectors all over the world keep their eyes open for this one, because hidden among millions of ordinary nickels are rare treasures worth real money. So settle in, listen closely, and enjoy, because today you might discover that you've had something valuable hiding in a jar or pocket this entire time. Let's start with the story. In 2004, the United States Mint launched the Westward Journey Nickel Series to honor the Louisiana Purchase and the Lewis and Clark Expedition. One of the standout designs from this series is the piece metal reverse. On it, you'll see two hands shaking, one representing the United States government, the other representing Native American leaders, a symbol of diplomacy used by Thomas Jefferson. This handshake design originally appeared on medals carried by the Lewis and Clark Expedition as a sign of goodwill. The front of the coin still features the classic Jefferson portrait, but the meaning behind the reverse makes this nickel feel like a tiny piece of American history you can hold. Now let's talk rarity, the part every collector waits for. While millions of these coins were minted, what makes them exciting are the unusual errors that slipped through the production process. These errors turn a 5-cent coin into something collectors will pay big money for. One of the most eye-catching errors is the annealing error, where the coin takes on a reddish or copper tone because it wasn't heated properly at the mint. Another valuable one is the double die obverse, where the year, letters, or even Jefferson's features show strong doubling. These can be worth far more than a typical nickel. There are also clipped planchet coins with a slice missing from the edge, rim cut errors where broken dies leave raised blobs of metal, and even dramatic brokerage errors where one side of the coin is stamped twice. If you ever wanted a coin that truly tells a story straight from the minting machines themselves, this is it. So what about real value? In everyday circulated condition, most of these nickels are still worth 5 cents. But in mint state, a clean, bright example can sell for up to $8. And the rarest, high-grade error varieties, especially mint state double dies, have sold at auction for as much as $2,750. Yes, a nickel turning into thousands. That's why collectors love this coin. So check your change, search those rolls, look at every detail. That one little coin could be worth far more than you expect. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more fascinating coin stories, make sure to tap that like button, subscribe for more rare coin videos, and hit the bell so you never miss a new one. Drop a comment if you want your coin featured next time. Top 2. You're about to hear a story hidden in one of the most dramatic modern nickels ever minted by the United States, the 2005 Jefferson nickel with the breathtaking ocean in the view design. This is not just a coin, this is a moment in history frozen in metal that millions of people have seen, but only a few truly appreciate. So grab your seat, turn up the volume, and listen carefully, because this might just be a coin sitting in your pocket worth far more than 5 cents. The year is 2005. The U.S. Mint continues its Westward Journey series, honoring one of the most important expeditions in American history, the journey of Lewis and Clark. And on this nickel, you can feel their excitement carved into the metal. Imagine trekking thousands of miles through wilderness, storms, mountains, and unknown land. Then, finally, after endless struggle, the breathtaking view of the Pacific Ocean appears. On this nickel, that moment is captured with the inscription, "Ocean in View." Oh! The joy! These were the real words written in Clark's journal when he first saw the ocean. You can almost feel the wind, the waves, and the relief they felt. On the front, Jefferson looks different from the old classic nickel. Instead, he faces forward, giving a confident, almost personal expression. This portrait was introduced exclusively for the 2005 nickels, making this year stand out in the entire Jefferson nickel series. Combine that with the historical reverse, and you've got a coin with soul. But now it's time for the real collector's excitement, rarity and mint errors. Even though millions of these nickels were minted, not all of them are equal. Some carry mistakes that slipped past the mint and turned into collector gold. One of the most desired error types is the strong die clash, where parts of the reverse design lightly appear on Jefferson's face. Another valuable error is the misaligned strike, giving Jefferson a slightly off-center look. Then there are coins struck on defective planchets with unusual textures or missing metal along the rim. And of course, the holy grail of modern errors, dramatic off-center strikes that show clean empty metal beside the design. Those can turn a simple nickel into real money instantly. Collectors also hunt for perfectly preserved mint state examples, coins with no scratches, no nicks, no wear from circulation. These flawless beauties often bring premium prices and continue to rise in demand as time goes by, especially as more collectors fall in love with the Westward Journey series. Now let's talk real value, the part everyone waits for. A common circulated 2005 Ocean in the View nickel is worth only 5 cents. But a clean mint state example can sell for around $5. A top-graded Denver mint example has reached as high as $5.56. And the rarest, pristine, high-grade proof and error examples have sold in auctions for up to $1,100. So check your change carefully. That simple nickel might be hiding a story, a mistake, and a value far greater than you imagined. Top 3, we're going to explore a coin that millions of Americans have handled without realizing the hidden gems hiding among them, the United States of America 1994 Jefferson nickel. This is one of those coins that looks completely ordinary at first glance, but when you know what to look for, it suddenly becomes a treasure hunt every time you check your pocket change. So grab your loupe, turn up the volume, and enjoy this deep dive into a coin that refuses to be ignored. The 1994 Jefferson nickel keeps the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, a design used for decades, but this year hides several surprises. On the reverse sits Monticello, standing proudly with its clean columns and wide steps. Although the design stayed the same, the way these coins were struck in the mid-1990s gives them a special charm. The mint was pushing huge production numbers, which means mistakes happened, and those mistakes are exactly what collectors chase today. Let's start with rarity. Alone, a 1994 nickel is not considered rare. Both Philadelphia and Denver mints produced plenty. But the key is condition. Finding a perfect, sharp, uncirculated 1994 nickel in the wild is much harder than it seems. Most have scratches, bag marks, or dull surfaces from years of circulation. A clean, blazing example can stand out like a diamond, but the real excitement begins when we talk about errors. This year is known for some dramatic and valuable mint errors that turn an ordinary nickel into a collector's prize. One of the most fascinating errors is the off-center strike. Imagine Jefferson pushed halfway off the coin, leaving part of the surface blank. These can bring serious value. Another valuable error is the double die, where letters like Liberty or the date show doubling that pops under magnification. Then there are clipped planchets, where a curved bite is missing from the metal, instantly making that coin a standout. You can also find die cracks running across Monticello or the fields, creating raised lines that collectors absolutely love. Some 1994 nickels also have weak strikes, where Monticello's steps look mushy or Jefferson's hair loses detail. While weak strikes themselves aren't rare, a crisp, fully detailed strike from 1994 is surprisingly hard to find, and collectors will pay for that sharpness. So always check your change, your coin rolls, your jars at home. You may be holding something far more exciting than a regular nickel. The more you look, the better your chances of finding something special. And now, for the real-world values, spoken clearly in words. A regular circulated 1994 Jefferson nickel is worth 5 cents. A beautiful uncirculated example can bring between $1 and $3. Error coins such as off-center strikes or clipped planchets typically sell for between $10 and $50. A sharply graded mint state example with exceptional detail can sell for around $40. And the rarest, high-grade, dramatic error pieces have sold at auction for well over $100. Top 4, we're exploring a coin that most people overlook every single day, yet it hides secrets that only true collectors ever notice. I'm talking about the United States of America Jefferson nickel from the year 1991. At first glance it looks simple, ordinary, nothing more than 5 cents. But stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand exactly why this little nickel has become one of the most surprising pieces of modern pocket change. Imagine this, it's 1991, the US Mint is producing nickels by the hundreds of millions. Over 1 billion nickels were made that year across 3 mints. Philadelphia without a mint mark, Denver with that bold letter D beside Jefferson, and San Francisco creating beautiful mirror-like proof coins with the letter S. With numbers that huge, the average person assumes every 1991 nickel must be common. And that's the first trap, because hidden among the sea of ordinary coins are rare strikes, sharp details, mistakes, and errors that make certain pieces worth far more than the typical 5 cents. Collectors love this year for one major reason: the hunt for full steps. If you flip the coin over and look at Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, focus on the stairs at the bottom. Most nickels have soft, blurry steps because the dies wear down quickly. But a few coins were struck so sharply that you can clearly count 5 or even 6 complete steps. No breaks, no flattening. Those coins are prized because they show unusually high minting quality. Full steps nickels from 1991 are noticeably harder to find, especially in high grade, and that rarity gives them real collecting power. Now let's talk about the fun part: mint errors. This is where the 1991 nickel becomes truly exciting. Some coins from this year were struck off-center, where part of the design is pushed outward like it slipped during minting. Depending on how dramatic the shift is, off-center errors can be worth many times face value. Others were broad-struck, which happens when the coin escapes the collar during striking and spreads out wider than normal. These pieces look strange, flat, and oversized, and collectors love them. But the prize of the year, the kind that makes you hold your breath when you find one, is a double denomination error. One real 1991 nickel was struck on a Lincoln cent planchet, meaning Jefferson's design was accidentally pressed onto a penny blank. That rare mistake sold for a surprisingly high price, proving that modern coins can still deliver unexpected treasures. So what are these coins truly worth today? Let's break it down in simple words so even beginners can follow. A typical circulated 1991 nickel, the kind you find in jars, drawers, or pocket change, is usually worth between 8 cents and 67 cents, depending on its condition and mint. Higher quality uncirculated pieces that still shine from the mint can go for $5 to $8.50. Full steps examples, because of their rarity, jump up to around $20 or more. Proof coins from San Francisco often sell for around $4 to $5. Minor errors like off-center or broad strike pieces can bring $10 to $30, sometimes higher if the error is dramatic. Exceptional high-grade coins certified at the top of the grading scale have even sold in auctions for hundreds of dollars. And that rare double denomination error? That one crossed the $1,000 mark. So next time you're holding a nickel from 1991, don't overlook it. Examine it slowly. Look at the steps. Look at the edges. Turn it under the light. Errors, sharp strikes, and full steps varieties are still out there, hiding in collections, rolls, and change that people haven't examined carefully. You might be the next lucky person to find one. Top 5, and last rare coin, we're diving into a coin that most people toss aside without a second thought: the United States of America Jefferson nickel from 1979. But if you lean in just a little, you'll discover that this unassuming 5-cent piece has hidden stories, rare varieties, and even mistakes that can make it worth far more than its face value. Coin lovers, buckle up, this could change how you look at your spare change. Picture holding a 1979 Jefferson nickel, Jefferson's calm portrait on one side, Monticello on the other. On the surface it feels common, millions of them were struck that year, but for collectors, the excitement lies in the details. What if I told you that some of those nickels were struck so sharply that the tiny stairs leading up to Monticello are fully defined? That's right, while most nickels from that era show weak detail on those steps, a select few display 5 or even 6 crisp, complete steps. These are known as full steps variants, and they're rare. Collectors prize them for their strong strike and well-preserved architecture, but wait, there's more. Errors make this coin even more fascinating. Some 1979 nickels were struck off-center, leaving parts of the design cut off or pushed to the rim. Others were broad-struck, struck without the usual collar so the coin spreads wider than it should. Even more intriguing, some were made on the wrong planchet. There are documented cases of a 1979 Jefferson nickel struck on a penny planchet, which blows the mind of any error hunter. Then there are die clash coins, where the dies imprint parts of their design into each other without a blank planchet in between, creating ghostly extra images or strange surfaces. You might even find clipped planchets or misaligned dies that produce weird shapes or partial designs. These mistakes are exactly what make certain 1979 nickels collectors gold. Now, for the part you've been waiting for, how much could one of these be worth? A normal circulated 1979 nickel typically trades for just a few cents, think around 8 to 67 cents depending on wear and mint mark. If you find one in uncirculated, or mint state, it can be worth around $8 or more. The full steps versions are where things get exciting. In mint state, full steps nickels from 1979 can fetch up to several $100s, depending on the mint and grade. Some of the very finest examples have even sold for thousands. One Denver Mint nickel with full steps in a top grade reportedly brought in $4,500 at auction. Proof coins from San Francisco with the special S mint mark come in two types, and rare, high-grade Type 2 proofs and deep cameo proofs can sell for in the low thousands too. So if you stumble across a 1979 nickel in your spare change, don't toss it aside. Pull it out, examine it with a loupe, and look closely at Monticello's base. Check if those steps are complete. Inspect the rim for off-center strikes or odd shapes. If you spot something unusual, you might just be holding a very special coin. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit subscribe, drop a like, and comment below if you've ever found a weird or error nickel in your change. I love hearing your discovery stories. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep hunting for those hidden treasures.